Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how I mix the snare in the new Shredder song On Top of the World, which is coming out this February. I already did a video tutorial on how I mix kicks and I will link that in the description below. But this video is all about snares. So let's listen again just to the intro of the song and then we'll break it down. Here we go. All right, cool. So let's begin. First, let me just mute just the drums, and I'm just going to play just a snippet of it. All right, and then now I'm just going to solo out the snare. Let's take a listen to just the snare by itself, and then we'll start diving in. All right, so what's going on over here? I have a snare top, I have a snare bottom, I have a sample snare, and then I have a verb. So let's start with the actual snare. Let's solo this. Let's take a listen to it. Let's bypass all the plugins, and let's begin first with the gate. Now I did a video on how to gate this particular snare. I'll also link that in the descriptions below. But for this video, let's just do a quick before and after. Now let's go to my EQ. I start with the SSL channel by Waves. I use this throughout my whole mix. And here are my settings for the snare top. I'll just quickly break down what I have here. Let's start with the filters. I have a high pass at 150, then I have a low pass at 5. Then at 8K, I'm boosting about 5 dB. Nothing in the mids, in the low mids. It's 700 Hertz, I am boosting 5.7 dB. And then at 200, I'm doing nothing, actually, down here. And then I also have a little bit of compression, 3:1 ratio, fast attack, slow release. And I'm hitting about 3. And let's do it before and after. Next, I have a lo-fi. And this basically just adds a little bit of distortion. It makes it a little bit louder without my meters peaking. I just want you to look at the meters here when I bypass it and I bring it in. And then all I'm doing here is just bumping the distortion to 2. See how it gets a little bit louder, but the meters really aren't jumping. And it does add some harmonic distortion. All right, so that is my snare top. Here is my snare bottom. Let's bypass all the plugins and let's start with my silencer. So instead of using a native stock plugin, my gate, as I did in the snare top, here I'm just using basically a preset. And I choose the snare bottom, and then I just mess around with the threshold until it sounds nice and tight. All right, next I have the SSL channel, and here I am using a preset, and I'm using the CLA snare bottom, which is found over here. And let's see what this is doing. My filters are cutting about 50. That's all I'm doing here. And then at around 5K, I'm boosting about 7 dB. Nothing in the mids, nothing in the mids. And here in the low mids at 200 Hertz, I am boosting 6. And then I'm doing a 10:1, like a limiter. But here I'm using fast attack and a fast release. And I think I'm hitting around 10 here. Let's see what's going on. I just wanted to make it really, really tight. And together, they sound like this. Here is my snare sample, and I am using Savage Snare sample by Billy Decker, and by itself it sounds like this. I'm boosting a little bit of the input because I want the snare to kind of peak up here. I'm going to play it again and I want you to see here. And then on the output I have it bumped at 3, and that is because I want my snare to be pretty much at level to my real snare. So watch the meters over here. See how it's hitting the yellow? And then I have the SSL channel, and this is really changing the sound of the snare. Let me play it first and then I'll break it down. Let's see what's going on here. My filters 100, 8K, low passing. Then at 8K I'm boosting about 2 dB. Then I have at 4.5K I am boosting another 2.5 or so. Here at 300 hertz I am boosting 2.3 dB. And then over here at 200 hertz I am boosting 5.3, about 5 or so. Then I have a 3:1 ratio on the compressor, fast attack, slow release. Let me play it again real quick. I'm going to bypass it and then I'm going to bring it in. And finally, I have a snare verb. And here I am using the Savage Snare Room, which is the sample that I'm using. So I'm just using the reverb of it. First, let's hear it by itself. And then I am going to bring all my snares, and then I'm going to bypass it, and then I'm going to bring it in. And that's about it. So that is how I mix my snare. Let's just listen to the drums again, the whole drum mix, and then we'll listen to really quickly the song. I hope this was helpful. If you have any comments or any questions, please leave them down below. And until next time, happy mixing.